I have never heard of plant-based C60 before, and I'm looking at a product that claims to be plant-based C60. Like, what? It's vegan. Wow.
Rex,
Me.
you know, let me describe a little bit more because that question just is like it's like a
You're gonna
just
love that at
horrible.
lunch.
It's like a horrible PTSD flashback. So
Sorry.
remember when no, but remember study comes out in 2012. Rats live 90% longer. At our lab, we started getting phone calls in 2013 of people saying, "Hey, how much of this should I be taking?" And we're conservative nanomaterial scientists, and we have our conservative nanomaterial scientist hat on. And the way we heard that question is like, "Hey, Chris, how much of this material that out to research institutions around the world for ink, batteries, tires, and photocells, how much of that stuff should I be consuming?" And we were like, zero. We actually added not for human consumption to our labeling because we're conservative nanomaterial scientists, and ink, battery, tires, and photocells doesn't seem to jibe well with a health product. Let me be clear, the research, the publications, the literature showed it to be safe. We were just being ultra conservative. So in middle of 2013, we add not for human consumption to our labeling. Every quarter, we're getting about 2-3 calls a week, right? And these calls are really amazing calls because we don't have any branding on it. There's no placebo effect. And people would call and they would say, "Hey, I got to share with you, my knee pain is gone." And we would say, "You mean the knee pain of your rat, right?" Because it literally says not for human consumption on the label. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. If my rat were 275 pounds, how much should my rat be taking on a daily basis?" Right? And we're like, "Okay, we know what's going on." Every quarter, my business partner, Robert, and I are getting together and saying, what are we going to do with this, right? We're getting these 2 to 3 calls. Do we want to get into the supplement industry? And our answer quarter after quarter was no, until about 2017. But during that period of time, I found a peer-reviewed published research paper that showed 50% of the supplements that they had purchased on the market did not have in them what they said they had. And that's exactly why Robert and I didn't want to get into this industry, into the supplement industry in general, right? This is why I'm getting this PTSD flashback from your question. Plant-based makes me want to vomit in my mouth a little bit.
So cheers, everybody. Thank you very much for being here with us. Look who it is. We've got Patty Greer and Chris Burres, Chief Scientist over at C60 Evo, the evolution of C60. I just put a shot in my coffee here. I know that's what Patty does like every day. I think Chris has a beaker for his, but you also do smoothie shots with the C60 Evo. And folks, I just wanted to say we've got some very targeted questions we're going to get into, but before we do, we're going to take a nice shot, and cheers, everybody.
Doing it on a
good health over the holidays.
Cheers, everybody.
Colorado, Rocky Mountains.
Woo.
Cheers.
So you watch, we're going to all talk faster now.
And now we have the CC Evo. Also, I did want to recommend folks that they have a great skin products over at C60 Evo, as well as hair products. So I've been using this for my hair, and it's working. So I'm still not quite to Chris's hairline yet, but it's a work in progress. Chris, man, great to see you. So if it's okay with you guys, what I'd like to do is I've had a lot of questions sent into me. And also I've got some targeted questions because not everybody knows what C60 is. Some people think they do and they have no idea. I also want to talk about the evolution of C60, and I want to get into some of the features and benefits and some of the actual studies that have been done that clarify what we're talking about here. So
awesome.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go. So the first question that I'd like to ask is, what exactly is C60 and why is it called a miracle molecule?
Well, so Rex, always great to be here. We're going into the Thanksgiving is later this week. Excited about the holidays. A lot of people, when they're going into the holidays, are thinking about how do I avoid the sniffles and colds and flus or whatever. We're going to be talking about just that kind of thing today. So make sure you stay tuned. What we are talking about is I'm holding up a model of a molecule And if you're listening, just imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. The molecule was discovered in 1985, and the scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize for that discovery in 1996. My lab started manufacturing it in 1991, so 5 years before they were even awarded the Nobel Prize. The reason they won the Nobel Prize is because the molecule is amazing. It performs as well or better than the current best material in every application. It makes better inks, better batteries, better tires, better photocells. And these are all things that people tend not to think are good for health, right? In terms of tires, you're never asking yourself, what chunks of the tire should I be consuming on a daily basis? They actually thought the molecule would be toxic, and that's because one of the shapes on the exterior of this soccer ball shaped molecule, we call it ESS60, is reminiscent of benzene. And so they put it in a toxicity study. My lab actually provided the material. My lab's mentioned in that study. And instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So that's the single longest longevity experimental result in history. It's peer-reviewed published research, the kind of research that you would want to hang your hat on. And yeah, there's that paper. And when you get that whole paper, you can find that our lab is mentioned in that original study. So now this study kind of shot my trajectory out of being a carbon nanomaterial scientist into getting into the health space. Our most consistent testimonial is people take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night, which is amazing because one, and maybe most importantly, if you can improve your sleep, everybody knows that sleep is good for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And if you can just improve your sleep, you're going to improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. The other is that you take it in the morning, and I'm not aware of anything else that you take in the morning and positively impacts your sleep. You could get some exercise in the morning. That would positively impact your sleep. You can get some exposure to the sun. That'll get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and falling of the sun. Those are things that you can do in the morning. I'm not aware of what you can take in the morning, let alone give you focus and energy during the day, but positively impact your sleep that night. So that's kind of the broad view of what we're talking about. You mentioned C60. My lab is the oldest and longest manufacturer of C60 on the planet. C60 is really for industrial applications. The way we look at it is it's for industrial applications. There's peer-reviewed published research that proves if you improperly process it, it's harmful. ESS60 is what we sell, is C60 that's been processed for safer human consumption. So when you're out there on the market kind of looking for something that's going to be made from the original lab, that was going to be the actual product used in the original study, then you want to look for ESS60.
Well, that makes sense. And I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the things I was going to ask you is actually why it won a Nobel Prize. Was that so that was connected with like the actual study done on these rats?
No, so great question. One, because the material performs as well or better than the current best material. So they knew it was a spectacular material. But if you kind of roll back into chemistry and understand kind of why they won the Nobel Prize in chemistry, this ESS60 molecule was the first molecule that's ever discovered that's a closed cage molecule. Right, so there's no single atom in this molecule that's hanging out there all by itself ready to interact with other atoms or other molecules. Every atom in this molecule is connected to every other, well, not every other, but some other atom in this molecule. And that's the first closed cage molecule. So that's one. You know you're about to win a Nobel Prize when you add a symbol to chemistry, the language of chemistry. So prior to the discovery of this, and we kind of affectionately call it a buckyball. It looks like a ball, obviously, and then Bucky is from Buckminster Fuller, who is the guy who really brought to prominence the geodesic dome, and this has that same geodesic dome shape. So in the early days, you can think about the buckyball as having enough space on the inside of it for any atom on the periodic chart to fit inside of it. Right? And that's where this at symbol got added to chemistry. So you're familiar with your at symbol in your email address, right? Like whatever, at gmail.com. Now there's a new symbol. So C60, that's the industrial grade. C60 at, or lanthanum at C60 means one lanthanum atom physically trapped inside of the molecule, not covalently or ionically bonded with the exterior. It's physically trapped inside of it. And that creates some very interesting ideas, because in the past, when molecules were interacting and continuing to interact, it was because they were covalently or ionically bonded. If they were kind of free form next to each other, they could go their own separate ways, and they didn't kind of stick next to each other. With this physically entrapped inside of it, it can't go away, right? So it's inside of it, and that's why, those are kind of the couple of things that is why they won the Nobel Prize in chemistry.
Oh, okay. Okay. I appreciate that. And for those of you that haven't learned about C60 yet, like if this is your first time watching this, or maybe if you've heard about it, if you haven't heard Patty's testimony, several testimonies actually, like why she got into the product itself. Like, will you share that with us real quick?
Love to. I told you I ran for a prop before the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at what's Rex into these days. And of course, it's UFOs and stuff. And I don't know if you've ever heard of moldavite. Moldavite.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yesterday I wore my giant moldavite necklace, and I thought you'd enjoy the size of this piece. It is huge. And when I wear it, people that are sensitive or intuitive, I see them sometimes like at the grocery store, they'll go, "Oh, what is that?" It's like this wonderful power piece, but that's my alien moment here. I just thought you'd get a kick out of it because it's the highest vibrating mineral on Earth, because it's not of Earth. It's a tektite from outer space. And it intrigued me so much that I bought the largest piece I've ever seen available. But that's how I like to go for things. In ufology, I really got into the crop circles. So I went into more than 100, made a bunch of movies, and then said too much because I didn't know, which they clearly told me. And I realized this morning it was 10 years ago, the first hack on my Crop Circle Films website. It said, "Telling the truth in times of universal deceit is a revolutionary act." And the quotes were backwards just to be sure that I got the message. So I went through a hard time, and then I had 2 attempts on my life and barely made it. But somebody gave me a sample of C60 Evo, this wackadoodle hippie guy. And then this SpongeBob guy also gave me some. And both of them came from Chris's lab. And I was like, what is this? Because this actually is helping me. And I've had 2 hip replacements this year, friggin' effortless. But it's almost like I took a huge sock off my life and threw it over there, because I barely lived a couple times through some horrific human experiences. And the only reason I did was because of this product, C60 Evo. So I heard about this Nobel Prize winning science. I heard that in 2012, the test subjects, Chris is humble, it did come from their lab. Not only did the rats live 90% longer, but they died without tumors, which was historic. To me, that's equally as important as long life, because I'm already old. I've already done so many chapters. It's like I want to just feel great. I want to sleep well. I want to have energy, and I want to kick booty. This product does it. And I cleared off hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of supplements that I've taken for years. And, some of them were 5 years expired, But you look at all this stuff that you spend money on, and I realized that a tablespoon of this in the morning does better for me than all of those supplements put together day after day after day. Your little Monday and your Tuesday and your 10 or 8 or whatever. That's all in my past. I really feel like this is the breakthrough remedy for anybody dealing with, well, I'm going to say, I can't say it'll work for anybody else because we're not allowed to. But, hip replacements, I was bone on bone for 3 years, 2 years. And by the time I had my surgery, the surgeons that looked at my x-rays were like, this isn't normal. You can't be walking this long. And I said, yeah. And I hand them a sample because I've always got one in my purse. Yeah, this is, I co-own the company with the only lab in the world making it. And they're like, just staring at me like I'm some anomaly, which I am. And anybody can be. That's so cool with a teaspoon or a tablespoon in the morning of this magic miracle molecule that Chris and Robert humbly make in their lab. Because when they were in college, a couple of goofy kids, their professors said, if you can figure out how to burn graphite rods at the heat of the sun and make C60 in a huge metal chamber, it's worth more than gold per ounce. And they got on it. And they've been doing it 33 years, even though he looks 33. He is anti-aging. I'm 71. I'm anti-aging. And yesterday we were comparing notes on who's got the fastest car. I mean, it's kind of funny how we're going back into our racing days, our teenage days, our exciting feelings, because when you feel good, when you sleep well, and I speak just generic human, he speaks science, you understand science, but your audience might be more like me. I get headaches constantly, not me, but wrist flex. She was like, I had so many migraines when I met you. I haven't had any. Again, that's just her. Probably won't happen for anybody else because we're not allowed to say it. But you know what I'm not saying? It's absolutely amazing. And these rats living 90% longer and dying without tumors, that says a lot. We never can claim that we cure anything. We call it preventative. Such as you're a major bike rider and you take monster bike rides, tens of miles, 50, I don't know. I mean, you go far and you go hard. And the next day, if you take your Evo, you don't hurt. But if you don't take your Evo, you might kind of feel we just hear this again, not me, because I don't ride 50 miles at a time or run like Chris and his wife with this marathons. I mean, a lot of people are into heavy sports. For me, I'm just so glad to be walking again and doing stairs. And when people see me, I've lived in this town for 5 years. Everybody knew me with my walking poles. Nobody even remembers because I have no limp. I have no complaints about pain. And it's because of C60 Evo. So Chris and I met 5 years ago. And actually, we just almost missed our birthday. It was November 1st. We forgot. Um, so, yeah, 5 years we've been going at it. And when we met, we looked at each other. I'm this wild thing, makes crop circle movies. And Chris is in the lab coat with his lab goggles. And, we kind of looked at each other, but they knew that I brought the company a lot of business because I'm on the air constantly talking about whatever, crop circles. But now Chris and I are nonstop talking about Evo because the world is about to change and we have the opportunity to make America healthy again.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that. That's pretty
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hello. So then somebody's going to say, okay, that sounds amazing. But what makes C60 different from other antioxidants as an example? Because I know that C60 has been labeled as something that's much more powerful than other antioxidants by a multitude of times. Am I correct on that, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would say is, as we're talking about, I mean, we can talk about C60 as a negative particle sponge, right? So C60 absorbs and can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. ESS60 is the antioxidant, right? Because that's when you're starting talking about consuming it. And so ESS60 is for, that's safe for people and pets. Yeah, there's an ad hoc study out on the web that shows us to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. If you're a little more sciencey, there's a peer-reviewed published research paper that shows us to be 125 times more vitamin C. And I think that's pretty important. And we're different as an antioxidant, and we can talk about that. I just think the first thing, hey, we're coming into like Thanksgiving, we're coming into cold, sniffles, flus, all that stuff. And a lot of people tend to reach for vitamin C. Let me get some extra orange juice for that vitamin C during these times. We think that you should be focused on something that's at least 125 times more powerful than vitamin C as an antioxidant. We're also, our understanding is that we're a selective antioxidant. So there are things that you can do. You can actually have too many antioxidants in your system. And what that can cause is to dampen the hormetic response. Now, what the hormetic response is, we all kind of understand our bodies do need to experience some stress so that we can have some growth, right? And this is actually, spiritual, emotional, physical. You have to lift heavy weights in order to build more muscle or just more strength. You don't even have to have more muscle. You can just build more muscle strength in there. That is called the hormetic response. You don't want to dampen the hormetic response. Our understanding is, even though we're 125 times more powerful than vitamin C, we're not damping that hormetic response because it selectively bonds with the right oxidative agents. So, and I don't think I've said that on your show before. I think it's really important to understand that ESS60 is a great antioxidant and a very selective antioxidant.
Because you can have too much vitamin C or too much, and like you said, antioxidants. I didn't know that about the health effects. So that'll affect your muscle growth.
Yeah, it can dampen that hormetic response, in whatever body. And by the way, our body is going through hormetic responses all the time. You can imagine, we currently live in a very stressed society, right? So you have toxins that are stressing you. You have, the food that we're eating that has toxins in it that are stressing you. And even just too much food in general can stress you. You have the stress of whatever, that last email or that phone call. We live in this high stress environment. And a lot of people are like, I just wish I could have a no stress day. Actually, those aren't that healthy for you either. Your body does need some stress so that it can bounce back. And it's that bouncing back process is called the hormetic response. And you don't want to dampen that with too many antioxidants. And you got vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. There's a plethora of, melatonin, the sleep hormone, and we can talk about that, its role in the mitochondria. Melatonin is a great antioxidant. Glutathione is kind of considered the master antioxidant. All of these things are really important. You just don't want to overdo those because you might dampen that hormetic response.
I was looking at some of the different C60 products, and one of them on the back said 10 milligrams of like ash or some type of like
Charcoal.
Charcoal ash. 10 milligrams of charcoal ash. Like what? And they were pitching this C60.
I got to be honest, a lot of the products that you might be referring to, Chris and Robert have tested and looked into. When the flu season started 3 years ago, the big giant one that shut down the world, they bought everybody's products online and tested them to see who's got what. And we were really hoping that it's a healthy community of conscientious people. And it turned out that everybody was way overestimating the amount of C60, not even ESS60, the good stuff made for humans and pets, but the industrial C60, they were putting in a tenth to a third of what their label claimed because they didn't have a machine called an HPLC in the lab, high performance liquid chromatography, that measures the concentration levels of what's in the bottle. And what we know, because we have real scientists, is that the maximum concentration you're going to get on any of these oils is noted. So we do it, we spin them for 3 weeks with no light, no heat, a consistent temperature, but no air and nothing. It's very, very inert chambers. Is inert the right word for the vats of stirring product? And we know that the MCT coconut oil will only hold up to 3.35 milligrams per milliliters. Avocado, 0.6 to 0.65. And the extra virgin olive oil, cold press, because somebody wanted to know, holds 0.8 to 0.86. So what we have is the strongest, very close, and the least amount, but this is what I take every day to start my day because I put it in my coffee. The fact that it has 0.35 milligrams and I like a good energy for the day, I just double the dose. I put in a tablespoon, spill a little more sometimes, but I get the nicest energy all day long with my coffee. And it's not like a coffee buzz where you're kind of jittery sometimes, and then at 2 you're crash. I go like smooth all day long. I right up until either 8 or 9, and then it's just like timber out. But the level of sleep and the energy of the sleep is so deep and delightful and comfortable. And the thing about this product that I noticed the most, and the influencers that we work with, is that they can research longer. I can watch a lot more videos and congressional hearings when I take this. And my mom is 95 and she takes it, and all of her friends have kind of passing and going through all these things. She's still reading huge books all the time, big, thick books. And people are questioning her, and I'm like, Mom, show them the bottle, you know. But at 95, they're not shopping literally online too much. But man, she and her 16-year-old Shih Tzu cooking with gas, just mind boggling. I got my kids on it because we take it religiously. The guys like to take the capsules because, I don't know, a lot of people prefer that than a spoonful of oil. For me, it's so easy to take the oil. But these are great for traveling, for briefcase, for your purse, for your glove box. And we only make it in the olive oil because it's the strongest. So we've got all kinds of product line that we've blended it into. And it took the scientists a minute because they're a bunch of guys in a lab that weren't used to some wild thing coming in saying, let's do face serum, let's do body cream, let's do lip balms. And now we do all of them. And Chris uses them and he's like smooth as butter. And yeah, and I imagine we're getting rave reviews on the new C60 Evo Rich Body Cream with Tangerine. And a lot of people just refer to it as the Tangerine Dream. Have you gotten yours yet?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that stuff's great.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something too, like about the skin stuff, because there's a lot of studies that say, I'm not like just personal testimonies, but aren't there studies out there that show some of the benefits that the C60 has on your skin also? And that's probably why you're putting it in there, right, Patty?
Well, we're putting it in there because it works. I mean, for me, Chris does the science. I just swab the stuff on me. And in the beginning of working together, I take a spoonful and then I look at the spoon and go, well, I'm not going to waste that. So I roll it off the spoon, put it on my hands, rub it on my face. And I used to have pretty rough skin because I rode a Harley without a helmet or a windshield for 10 years, a lot of miles, 50,000. And my skin might have taken a beating, but I was too busy to notice. And when we started doing this product, I always not only use the spoon, but I wipe it off the lip because I was going, more valuable than gold. It's expensive. Rubbing it on. Now my skin's getting all glowy. So I called him and I go, come on, let's do it. And usually Chris models our face serums, and look at his skin. I mean, the guy's 75. I think he looks great.
55.
75. He just turned 150. Holy shit, you look amazing, bro.
He's been on it for 93 years.
That's awesome.
So not only did those products show up with a fraction of what they should have, but I think that what we've learned now by 2024 is that ESS60 is the only one that's made for people and pets. And if you're getting industrial grade C60 or anything that just says C60, it's probably from China. And we've had people tell us they're buying from China. But I just think, when I think of my pets, my mom, that's the last thing I want to be buying is Chinese industrial grade C60 mixed in a garage or a basement, which unfortunately, I saw a couple labs before I joined Chris and Robert. One was a garage, one was the basement. And then I saw the lab and I was just, gripped because it's huge and real. And the scientists are real in lab coats and hot and huge. Everything's huge. But then the machine in the back that makes C60 at the heat of the sun. This thing is so Star Wars. And Chris and Robert created this machine in college, and they're still using an iteration of it today. So, for me, going through what I went through, I just feel like the gods are gifting me because this is the easiest thing to sell because it works. And when we do shows with people, if they say, no, we don't have any products, we go, we're going to send you some, and then we'll do a show. And somebody recently said, wow, that's really integral. And I said, no, it's pride. Stuff works. Soon as you get some and you take it for a few days, you're going to want to do an interview with us because you want your audience to know. and you want people to stay healthy through the holidays. But for me, it's more than the holidays. It's the evolution that we are about to experience, the transformation of America and all of Earth, the exposure of all this dark that's come to the surface to be healed. I mean, it's scary, it's awful, it's dark, but I feel like we've lived through a lot of it. And now we're kind of coming out on the other side. And I'm one of the few people that's this positive, but it's because I take so much of the product. It just keeps me in line. And believe me, I get tested enough and I just go, oh, bah humbug, anymore, because we got the greatest things ahead. And I think that we are going to be a very important part of Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s program of Make America Healthy Again. And we have sent him 3 collection sets, and we had to have them blessed in a church because that's the only way he'll take the gifts. So he received this 3 times, all 3 flavors. And I think his voice is getting better. I haven't heard from him, but my good friend tours with him. So, I don't get to know firsthand, but I did get my hat and my t-shirt. So I do believe we've got the direct route to a man that's about to make America healthy again. And we've been playing with, make Maha and MAGA. And what else you got? We've got Make America Safe Again. Yesterday, somebody came up with
How about Make America Fun Again? Sounds like the mafia.
money.
MAFA, Make America Fun Again. Just, like you don't have to worry about, I don't know, the 80s was awesome. The 90s was awesome. And then 2001 happened and then things just seemed to change. So anyway, that's a whole other podcast, folks. But yeah.
But imagine when they look back on 2025 and they go, and then everything changed. And then Bobby bought Evo through the government and gave it to everybody. And then everybody started telling the truth and smiling again. Oh,
That'd be pretty cool. Let's all put our hands in the water right now because that's that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I've got to ask a question too before we finish this up because I have never heard of plant-based C60 before, and I'm looking at a product that claims to be plant-based C60. Like, what? It's vegan. Wow.
Rex, let me describe a little bit more because that question just is like it's like
you're gonna love that
horrible,
at lunch.
It's like a horrible PTSD flashback. So
sorry.
Remember when remember study comes out in 2012, rats live 90% longer. At our lab, we started getting phone calls in 2013 of people saying, hey, how much of this should I be taking? And we're conservative nanomaterial scientists, and we have our conservative nanomaterial scientist hat on. And the way we heard that question is like, hey, Chris, how much of this material that out to research institutions around the world for ink, batteries, tires, and photocells, how much of that stuff should I be consuming? And we were like, 0. We actually added not for human consumption to our labeling because we're conservative nanomaterial scientists, and ink, battery, tires, and photocells doesn't seem to jibe well with a health product. Let me be clear, the research, the publications, the literature showed it to be safe. We were just being ultra conservative. So in middle of 2013, we add not for human consumption to our labeling. Every quarter, we're getting about 2-3 calls a week, right? And these calls are really amazing calls because we don't have any branding on it. There's no placebo effect. And people would call and they would say, hey, I got to share with you, my knee pain is gone. And we would say, you mean the knee pain of your rat, right? Because it literally says not for human consumption on the label. And they're like, oh, yeah. If my rat were 275 pounds, how much should my rat be taking on a daily basis, right? And we're like, okay, we know what's going on. Every quarter, my business partner, Robert, and I are getting together and saying, what are we going to do with this, right? We're getting these 2 to 3 calls. Do we want to get into the supplement industry? And our answer quarter after quarter was no until about 2017. But during that period of time, I found a peer-reviewed published research paper that showed 50% of the supplements that they had purchased on the market did not have in them what they said they had. And that's exactly why Robert and I didn't want to get into this industry, into the supplement industry in general, right? This is why I'm getting this PTSD flashback from your question. Plant-based makes me want to vomit in my mouth a little bit. And not just because
That's
it's
marketing
plant-based.
for you, folks. I'm telling you, like that's what I saw. And I don't even, I mean, I know very little about C60, but to see this marketing ploy on Amazon, when you type in C60, and one of the first things that pulls up is the first thing that pulled up was the charcoal, 10 milligrams of charcoal, whatever. But then the next one that pulled up was the vegan.
That's why you want to look for
Yeah.
ESS60.
Yeah. That's why we switched that off. I mean, saying plant-based carbon 60 is like saying plant-based aluminum, right? Like it's a mineral in the soil. Remember the C60 molecule, and really again ESS60 for consumption, is a naturally occurring molecule. Right? If you take the soot from a candle flame, right, you put a cold steel plate over a candle, you'll get that black soot. That's got part per million or parts per billion of the ESS60 molecule in it. So it is a naturally occurring molecule. It does not come from plants in any way. So to say plant-based, just it's nonsensical. Certainly the olive oil is from a plant, right? That's from the olives.
I'm thinking. These are all plant-based.
Yeah. Like
the oil.
Yeah, the oil is plant-based. So ultimately, we were not interested in getting in the market. Ultimately, our lab, we deliver commercial quantities of carbon nanomaterials to research institutions around the world. They get what we sold them. They test it because they have the HPLC that Patty mentioned earlier to test it. And you compare and contrast that to the supplement industry, right? Like nobody's got an HPLC in their market. You think about somebody getting some vitamin C, they don't count the tablets, they don't weigh the tablets, they don't break them down and make sure it's ascorbic acid. They know nothing about these supplements. And that was really kind of what the market was asking us to get into. And we said no. Until Patty started talking, and then we started getting she started getting onto kind of bigger shows, and they were talking about all the benefits they were getting, taking it on a daily basis. And that's the moment when Robert and I were, what are we going to do with this? Our phone's ringing 10 times a day, not 2 times a week. And we asked ourselves 2 questions, and I think these are really important, and they can really provide some foundation of how we think. The first is a moral question. Are we comfortable selling it? I take it, my wife takes it, obviously you guys take it, everyone on our team takes it. By the way, not a requirement to work on our team. You don't have to take it. They just have access to the research. They have access to the testimonials. They all take it. And then the next is the legal. Like we do the right things for the FDA. We do the right things for the FTC. And then we started bringing this to market, partnered with Patty. And now we're here just sharing and having to explain how there is no such thing as a plant-based carbon 60.
It goes further though. Because you mentioned the charcoal. There's a few companies that are doing charcoal mixtures and calling it C60. We also hear about sonicated and sublimated. And Chris has looked into all these things where water-based, superpower C60, and people are trying. I give them credit, but I also don't give my body to science, and I don't do carbon 60 from all these interesting and potentially questionable people that are looking forward to making money. They're not the scientists that are working in a lab with machinery that can tell them what they're doing. So, with all due respect, everybody knows it's a really big breakthrough molecule. So people are really trying to get good at it. For me, when I realized it saved my life and I'm still here, when I lived through 2 hip replacements this year, and it was like easy, and I'm dancing now, and I'm like totally back months ago, I realized that my family's watching me like I'm a medical miracle, and it really is the miracle molecule ESS60. So I gave some to some friends that have these dogs that they love that are old and waddly, and she said, Patty, we're doing the phone thing. She said, thank you for the sample, but my dogs are loving the spoons. And Bella's not limping anymore. Like, what's up with that? So I call the lab, and now we've got a dog formula and a cat formula. So if you got an old mangy cat, you won't for long. If you got a dog that's, limping, can't get up and down the stairs, mega helper. But also, if you've got medium and young pets, you just want to keep them around for a long time. It's a really nice idea to give them this mega antioxidant and perhaps not go see the vet for the next few years if you're lucky. I can't say it's going to work for you. It just happens to work for my family, and my daughter's got an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old cat. Yeah, I mean, we're going old here, because we're taking these products. I really laugh that my mom is outliving all of her friends, but that her brain is still so sharp. And for the dog and cat, we just have this great suggestion for the holidays. Anybody you know with a pet, you love the person, they love their pet, get them the pet lover set. So it's one for them, one for their pet. And that way, you give a gift to both of them. We also have the cat lover set, the pet lover set, and if you want a bigger bottle. But all of our oils come in a number of sizes, and all of them have been tested repeatedly before they go in the bottle. I swear this has 0.8 to 0.86 milligrams per milliliters. And it's really nice to be able to say that, because I'm working with the only lab in the world that makes the good stuff, ESS 60. I feel so blessed. And if I can mention to your audience that this is our advanced facial serum, which it took the guys a little time to say yes, but what a beautiful gift to give someone. Slides out of the box and it says revive, replenish, rejuvenate. And it's got the essence of rosemary oil and a base of chia seeds, all natural, vegan, organic, absolutely divine. But this is all I use. And most people have products all across their bathroom counter with so many ingredients you can't pronounce. Well, this is easy. And the guys at the lab, man, it took a little minute for them to kick in and say, okay. Then a year later, Chris calls me and goes, well, me and the guys at the lab discovered another miracle molecule. And it's this two-part amazing that also adds peptides. And Chris is showing you the wrapped version. Everything you get comes gift wrapped. So it's a present for you or a present for your friends. But this is why Chris, at 140 years old, looks this good. You mix these in the palm of your hand so that we didn't have to add emulsifiers and chemicals. So you put on the beautiful blue peptide cream, and then you blend in drops of the incredible mandarin, is it mandarin rose? Damask rose.
You put 2 drops per squirt, so 2 drops of the activator, the ESS 60 activator, for each squirt of the UTH29 peptide lotion. And then you mix it. Go ahead.
Yes, he's going to need his face to stand still so he can model that he's going to be glowing in a moment. But look at his skin. He's 55. I got to be honest, not 145. But he definitely
smells amazing.
And it smells amazing. All of our products smell amazing. This one, for Thanksgiving, she said, don't cook, just bring me some of your tangerine cream because I've used mine up. I'm like, you only got it a month ago. She said, oh man, I've been out for a week. I could swim in it. So this stuff is really a treat. And we've got beautiful holiday gift sets on your landing page, which is c60evo.com/leak project. And when you go there, you're going to find all kinds of deals and discounts and holiday suggestions. But keep in mind that we do the gift wrapping, not the outside box, but it comes in a clean white box that you open, and every product is a different color. It's so fun. And they do a really nice job. These have been beat up in my bucket a little bit, but everything comes very colorful. And needless to say, why would you give anybody C60 Evo for the holidays? Well, because you like them and you want them to be well, smell good, feel good, look good. Yeah, I don't have any friends or family that doesn't take it because we're all hooked. And you can get 20% discount off everything if you sign up for a monthly subscription. You can cancel at any time. If you decide you don't love it, no problem. You can cancel in 2 days after you place the order if you just want the 20% discount, but most people don't. And I did have my meeting today with my web lady, and I'm just astounded that in the supplement world, there's an average of 20 to 30% returns because a lot of products just don't work. We have less than 1% return rate, which is almost unheard of. Our sales annually are a little bit over 50% are resubscribed because people don't quit. So for me, I have saved all kinds of money by using Evo because the bathroom counter, it doesn't have a bunch of crap anymore. It has my advanced facial cream, and it also has the 2-part face serum. Sometimes I use it. I mean, it's really nice having both, one for morning, one for night, and it just keeps your skin lovely. So we've got the 2-part hair serum as well, which you say has helped you? Your hair's coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, so I've definitely got more hair than I did last time.
Wow.
Picking up. Yeah. Anyway, not Chris level, but I haven't been bathing in C60, so I'm sorry. I don't have my own lab. I can't. I was thinking before. I gotta mention this, like, folks, if you're thinking about getting some C60, like, I went back and looked at this vegan plant-based C60, and this is what they say. You got to read the fine print. First, they say what C60 is, but then they say our C60 is derived from carbonized wood chip dissolved in olive oil and packed in soft gels for your convenience. Oh, I feel so amazing. It's on sale, Chris. What do you think, man? You want to have some wood chip pills? Sounds awesome.
That sounds amazing.
It's on sale, man. It's so much. My gosh. The marketers are genius. They're like, they say what C60 is. They get you all excited. Oh, wow, that's C60. And then they go on to say that it's basically wood chips packed in soft gels.
Yeah, no, yeah. By the way, burnt wood chips have basically no C60 in them, period. Let alone any ESS60 that's been processed for pets and humans.
Oh, man. I tell you, marketers, they're like the modern sorcerers. They're modern wizards out there. They could say something to get you all excited. Like, I really want to see Bobby make America healthy again. That is like a passion of mine. So I hope we're all a part of that. I know you guys.
Well, we are, and I'm super excited by it. But I also am really, really proud that he received a second and third collection set because he doesn't have to. He could have said no, but he didn't. And God, if I can get a big bottle to Trump, I'd like to get him the 32-ounce bottle. This is for you big spenders out there and people with a big family or generosity. You want to blow it down into a few little bottles and share it. We also do dozen quantities for 25% off. And no matter what you guys buy or don't buy, if you take a look at the landing page that I gave you the link for, c60evo.com/leak project, he has a secret code on there that'll get you another 10% off at checkout. So the collection sets that you see there with the body cream or a 2-part collection set, those are 15% off each item when you buy more than one item at a time in a set. And then you can do that on the subscription and get 20% off. Use Rex's code, get another 10% off. So we have 2-ounce little teeny sample bottles only in dozen quantities, but you can get a mixed dozen, which is, all 3 flavors, 12 of them, or 4-ounce, 8-ounce, 16-ounce, 32-ounce. And then you see the 2 prices. One is if you buy it, the other is on subscription with 20% off. So that row there is one of our best-selling items, the Advanced Inside and Out Set. And that's where you get the really rich and luscious facial serum. and a bottle of Evo. We do it in 4-ounce for less price, or 8-ounce if you want the big bottle, but you won't believe the difference in your skin and your glow and how you feel if you're taking it inside and out. The ESS 60. Oh, it's so good.
Right on. All right. Well, anything else you want to share with us before we finish this up? And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And thank you for sending me another bottle too. So folks, I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool having good friends that, you know, the other day we did a really cool podcast, and Patty's like, are you out at Evo C60? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, boop, all right. 3 days later, boom, another bottle in the mail. Thank you.
It's ESS 60, man. We don't do that Chinese industrial. We are ESS 60. I'm like a cheerleader because Chris used to dock me 25 cents in the swear jar for saying C60. And, you know, I really understand it now. Like with the crap that I've seen, and I'm just sorry.
Money, I got to put it in the. Sorry, go ahead.
We try and really honor, you know, what would be considered competition. But it'll be really nice when they upgrade their integrity to be selling what they're saying. And we have seen the strangest pushing huge amounts of products that have the least amount of anything in them, and it's just shoved everywhere. So I think that we're in such an interesting time. I watch ufology go through a transformation of being infiltrated and destroyed. We're not going to let that happen to this field, but that's why Chris had the shock collar on me for the first year. He said ESS 60, so that we're not in that glump of questionable garage and basement situations. And again, I don't mean
Yeah, we're not in that clump of vegan-based, supercharged charcoal C60. You want the stuff that you're actually looking for, the stuff that was used in the original study that extended their lives by 90% from the lab that provided it, then you're looking for ESS 60.
Yeah, and if Patty's still alive, anybody can get better. I swear. I mean, I talk to my friends lately like, man, I'm really looking at what they put me through, you know, just low frequency, you know, but everything is really, I believe, just being so purified now. I am loving being a part of it. I'm loving watching the news. And I think it's really fun to watch you do all your alien stuff. That's, you know, who knows? But I will say, this is a pretty cool thing that keeps my mind, you know, whenever I need a little alien energy. But I don't actually believe this brings in ET. I think it just raises frequency. And I've got a house full of crystals, as you can see behind me. That thing's half as tall as me. So the house is full of them because, again, you know, we choose to put ourselves in an environment that helps us have a healthier life so we can help others. And for me, this is all I need. I need my Evo. We had a big fire here in Boulder, Colorado this summer, and we all went flying out. And I gathered, you know, stuff, and I got in my car and I drove to the post office to meet my family. And I'm looking at the mountains and seeing the flames, and I realized, crap, I forgot my new body cream. And I literally looked, I was like, I'm running my pendulum. I mean, I'm just, you know, Boulder woo woo. And I'm like, okay, I can make it. I ran back to the house. The flames are in the canyon next over. And our house didn't burn, but it was close. And I still went back for my C60 Evo Rich body cream. I could have called the lab, but I was like, I don't want to go 2 days. Who knows how many days if the house burns down. But you know, when we realize what's important, it's family, it's health, it's love, and it's freedom. So onward and upward, Maha helpers. Let's make America great again. Make America healthy again. What was yours, Rex?
Make America fun again.
Chris?
I like fun.
Right on. Yeah, that's why you work in a lab, dude. That's got
Yeah. Doing geeky fun.
I like
that's
fun
pretty
too.
cool. Personally, I mean, I wish I had a lab, so I'm a little jealous, but that's okay.
You'd be really jealous if you saw their lab. It's huge.
I mean, yeah. But I can go online and for $50, I can purchase wood chip filled pills. So
And you
I
can
mean,
buy them for relatives you don't like.
hey, I got some great stuff for you guys. It's this new supplement made with wood chips. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. All right, I gotta stop. It's the world we live in, folks, and people are buying it. They're like, dude, your stuff's so expensive. I got mine for $50, and then they look on the back and they're like, oh, wood chips. Oh, okay. Anyway, so much love, you guys. Thank you, Chris. It's great to see you, Patty. It's great to see you guys. Look great, and
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks,
Happy
Rex.
holidays.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too. Absolutely. Thank you. Be the change, everybody.